Good evening and welcome. Tonight, the president raises the bar on war against terror. United States ambassador dismisses claims that Nigeria will disintegrate in 2015, promises U.S. assistance to the country. Alleged 419 kingpin Fred Ajudowa to be rearraigned on fraud charges totaling about $1.69 million in Lagos. And Ukraine President Viktor Yanukovych accepts resignation of Prime Minister and his government. On Business News tonight, the UN Economic Commission for Africa projects a 6.9% growth for Nigeria. I'm Linda Akibe from Abuja. The Upper Legislative Chamber begins debate on the 2014 budget, with the All Progressive Congress lawmakers showing signs that they may abide by the directive from their party to block all executive bills. With the visit of the president to Adamawa State, one of the states under emergency rule, and straight off he told the indigents of the state that the tempo on the fight against terror will be intensified with the appointment of the new service chiefs at the palace of the Lamido of Adamawa, His Royal Majesty Bakindo Mustafa. The president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, condemned what he called the excesses of the members of the Boko Haram sect, insisting that their actions would no longer be tolerated. The president's promise comes as about 72 persons were killed in fresh attacks in Borno State recently.
Let me, on behalf of the government, sincerely express our condolences to the various people that have died in this unnecessary Boko Haram insurgents over this period. Only 2 days ago on Sunday, people were killed carelessly, some while worshiping. These things were never a part of our country before this time. These things are very alien to us, but because these days they say the world is a global village, so the bad habits travel faster than the good ones. And Nigeria is getting a fair share of this terror attack. God willing, Nigeria will overcome these challenges. So I express our condolences to you, members of the Emirate Council, and indeed all the people of Adamawa State. Today, Your Royal Highness, we come to inspect and commission a facility given by the Air Force, the Air Force Comprehensive School. And let me also congratulate you for producing the current Chief of Defense Staff for the country, your own son, which you have also mentioned in your speech, is somebody I've worked with before, and I believe himself and the other service chiefs which are here with us, definitely the security equation will change. They've not been formally cleared by the National Assembly, which I believe will be done this week. I believe by next week we'll have our first Security Council meeting, and I believe that the tempo will change.
President Goodluck Jonathan in Adamawa State. In the meantime, the president will leave Abuja tomorrow to attend the 22nd summit of the African Union Heads of State and Government, which begins in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa, on Thursday. During the summit, the president and other participating heads of state and government will formally launch 2014 as the Year of Agriculture and Food Security in Africa, as earlier declared by the continental body. They will also consider and adopt the reports of high-level committees on the assessment of the African Standby Force and the operationalization of the African capacity for immediate response to crisis, among other matters. The president is expected back in Abuja on Friday. While insurgents may have penetrated deep into the south of the country, or it may just be a case of mistaken identity. This scenario is the reason why the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the arrest of 320 people suspected to be Boko Haram members in Rivers State. The motion on the matter was moved by the Deputy Minority Leader, Suleiman Kawu, who insisted that the suspects, including women and children, were in the state on legitimate business. The House Committees on Police Affairs and Human Rights are expected to complete their investigation and report back to the House in a week's time.
Further disturbs that the arrest of 320 men and women has raised several issues that require immediate attention of every well-meaning Nigerian for the security, economy, and political well-being of the country and its citizens. Further disturbs that the arrested person were in Rivers for legitimate business, as most of them were petty traders and manual job seekers in search for means of livelihood in their father's land. Worried that such manner of arrest and the injustice portray obviously danger capable of breeding political instability to the already overheated polity, as the suspected were known to be law-abiding citizens. Regret that the police force, particularly in Rivers State, has just the primary responsibility of protecting the citizen to harassing innocent people in pursuit of personal and sectional interest. Further regrets that if no urgent step is taken, such arrest by the Rivers State Police Command may bring about political instability, insecurity, and it may well lead to breakdown of law and order, posing threat to the every existence of the country as whole.
Staying with security, the United States government has assured Nigeria of its support in the fight against terror. The U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. James Entwistle, also insisted that Nigeria will not disintegrate in 2015. He also defends a periodic travel advisory issued by the U.S. consulate. Ambassador Entwistle was a guest on our morning show, Sunrise Daily.
Fresh attacks in the northeastern part of Nigeria continues to attract concerns from citizens, the federal government, and foreign allies. One of them, the United States, says it remains committed to standing by the government to quell the insurgency.
The United States wants Nigeria to win its war on terror. Very simply, that's our position. Now, that's a complicated thing to do. It's more than just military, as we've learned ourselves in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. So it's an array of issues that come together to fight the war on terror, but we stand ready to help the Nigerians as friends and partners any way we can. So we have to walk a very fine line between encouraging ties between Nigeria and America, but also trying to give honest and frank information to Americans so that they know what to expect when they come to Nigeria. Yes, there are challenges in this country, but I think you have a very bright future. You're going to have to, like the same in my country, you're going to have to work hard to get there, but the idea that you're going to fall apart in 2015 sounds very odd to me. I'll come back in 2016 and see if we're still here.
The U.S. ambassador also spoke on the controversies surrounding same-sex marriage and Nigeria's anti-gay law.
How do you think that Nigeria signing the gay law would affect relationship between U.S. and Nigeria?
Look, the definition of a marriage in Nigeria is up to the Nigerian people and up to the courts. I think even before this bill was passed, that marriage was defined under the Marriage Act as a union between a man and a woman. That's up to you. What concerns us are the issues I mentioned, the restrictions on a couple of key freedoms, and just the creation of an atmosphere where people feel it's okay to engage in acts of hatred and violence. So those are the things that, as a friend of Nigeria, we felt obligated to bring up.
Nigeria's achievement in the agri sector also caught the attention of the diplomat.
As a matter of fact, here, Nigeria says we will have rice sufficiency by 2015.
Okay.
And then I saw this report where we talked about the United States Department for Agriculture, that's USDA, which says that, well, they're not exactly sure if that were the case. In fact, the headline says USDA faults that claim. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I have to confess I'm not a farmer, as you can probably tell. I read that report. I'm not an expert on rice, but it seems to me that the effort of your government and your private sector to boost food production, including rice production here, is a very healthy thing. I'm not much of an economist, but in my experience, the more diverse, the better in any economy.
Ties between Nigeria and the United States has improved over the years since the former's return to democratic rule in 1999, and it is hoped that this relationship can be sustained, especially as both countries remain committed to the fight against terror.